record. There, I just clicked record. We still have a couple minutes, but I just wanted to hop on early today because I had time, so why not? And there was no technical difficulties, so that's always a big plus, eh? I like that. How's everybody's Friday doing? Good, good. I'm happy to hear that. It is almost the weekend. It's going to be a super hot one, you guys. Oh my goodness. I know here they say it's a high of, what did they say? A high of like 29 or 30 today, but it's supposed to feel like 42. Now, I like the heat, so I actually don't mind at all. But when I'm working, I don't necessarily like the heat because if I'm going to a patient's house to clean their teeth, I really hope they have AC. So I've been lucky so far, though. Everybody has had AC, but if they don't, imagine with all of that PPE, how hot that would be. Yeah, very toasty. Okay, you guys, yes, you don't see my screen yet. I'm going to share it right now. Does anybody have any questions, though, from our previous session from last week, where we talked about staining, we talked about different intrinsic stains, extrinsic stains. This is the slide that we left off of last time, so you guys have seen this one. For those of you who are here today but didn't attend our session last week, make sure to look at the session recording. I do have that posted in our 2020 playlist on YouTube. If you did not save the link for that, all you guys have to do is do a search in our Facebook group for 2020 playlist, and it does pop up right away. But I do also post the recordings in our Facebook group too, so you just kind of have to scroll down a little bit, and then you guys will see that. Okay, you guys, but there's no questions about anything? Good question. So today we'll be doing the rest of the slides. We just have actually a couple more, or we just have a few more slides left for the staining one. And it's just basically, I'll be showing you guys some pictures like this, and then I just kind of ask you guys to type in the chat box what you see in the picture, because the hardest thing for new dental assistants or new dental hygienists is to look at a picture and tell me what you see, because there's so much happening. But I kind of want to train you guys to look at the picture and see one thing at a time, right? So that's what we're doing today. And then to do, to make up the rest of the time, I will be going through like a mock exam question session where there's a variety of questions. We haven't done that in a little bit, so I just thought that I would mix it up a bit for everybody instead of kind of like focusing on one topic. So that will be fun today. A nice way to start off the Friday, I think. Okay, guys, so it's 10 o'clock. We will get started. I forgot to quickly check Facebook just to make sure that nobody's having any issues logging on, but I don't think so. I don't see any comments to our live session link, so that's a good sign. Okay, you guys, so let's get the fun started, shall we? So if you guys weren't here last week, what I want you guys to do is type in the chat box. I should have that up. Yes, I do. Type in the chat box and let me know what you see. And then I go from there. So I'm not going to give you guys the answer yet, but just look in the mouth, tell me everything you see. You know, there are no right answers, wrong answers possibly, but you know, there's no certain answer that I'm looking for. You know, I just want you guys to let me know what you see, and then I will tell you what I see, and we will go from there. It's great practice. So I'll give you guys a minute to kind of think about that. This one's kind of an easier one because there's not too much to look at, is there? So that kind of helps. So I'll give you guys a minute to think about that one. Somebody's calling me. I don't know who's calling me. It doesn't say a name, so I'm not going to pick up that one. I don't know about you guys, but I don't typically answer my phone unless I'm expecting a phone call, because these days everybody's selling something. It's so annoying, isn't it? Yeah, I know. You guys are pretty fast at this one. Well, this one is kind of an easy one too. Now I'm looking for one more thing that is kind of hard to see. It's kind of blurry, but do you guys see anything, let's just say in this area here? Nobody's mentioned that yet. It's very blurry actually, so I'm not, you know, I understand if you guys can't really see it very well. Oh, actually somebody did. Somebody just pointed it out. Okay, so let me talk about it. So this area here, you can see some attrition here. Now, again, you guys, it is blurry, so I'm not going to fault you guys for not noticing that. But notice how there's some wear here. in patients, you always want to look for attrition because some have it, some don't. But if they do, the lower anteriors, and sometimes even if it's on the lower anteriors, you kind of expect it to be on the upper anteriors too. You want to ask them things like, oh, well, I see that your teeth are starting to wear away. Do you clench your teeth? Is that happening during the day? Is it happening at nighttime? If they say no, well, it could have been that attrition there for a while. So they could have been clenching or grinding as a teenager, but now they're not. So that's possible too, but you do have to ask that question because a patient won't often think to say to you, oh, I clench my teeth at night. What can I do about that? They kind of expect you to look in their mouth and let them know if you see anything out of the ordinary, because they might not even think that that's a bad thing, right? So always look for things like that. Okay, so the other things, of course, you see the amalgams. I believe everybody pointed that out. Now, does anybody know why this one looks very dark and this one looks very light and almost like a completely different color? Can anybody tell me why that might happen? As you guys are thinking about that, I'm going to go through the rest of the slide here. So yes, somebody pointed out there's a little brown dot here and a little brown dot here, even kind of like up here too. Now, without seeing this patient, without looking inside the mouth, it's really hard to tell what that could be. Like I would automatically pick up my Explorer and check these areas to see if they are sticky. Because yes, that's not ideal. That doesn't look right here and here. But you know, it could be that the patient did have a cavity and it's since kind of corrected itself, which doesn't happen too often. But I have seen it where a patient, let's say, has a cavity 6 months ago. I see them 6 months later and they just forgot to get the cavity fixed. The dentist looks in there and says, oh, well, it's not a cavity now, so we don't have to worry about it. It doesn't happen often though, but it could happen, right? So that's why I check for sticky spots. That's how you have a better indication of if it could be a cavity. Of course, we can't say if a client, and you know what, you guys, I have to start saying client, okay? So if you guys hear me say patient, please correct me. I prefer the word patient, but they are really, you know, our dental hygiene association is like yelling at us and like giving us a slap on the wrist if we put in our charts patient. So I need to get used to saying client. So, oh my gosh, where was I? Okay, yes. So, so I checked to see if there's any sticky spots. We can't say that they have a cavity or not. They need to be looked at by a dentist to say for sure. Okay, so some of you guys did say possible cavity here. I agree, it does look like one, but we can't say for sure, just so you know. And good, so some of you guys had mentioned why these are different colors. So this looks like it's a newly placed amalgam, that's why, okay? This will become darker over time. And somebody even mentioned, and it does kind of look like that. I didn't even notice it right away, but notice how there's like a chip or a hole here. You really can't tell. I mean, it looks like it, but if you were to look inside the mouth, it could look completely different. I've seen that before. It could be the angle of the camera. So it almost looks like this piece of amalgam just kind of chipped away, because that's a pretty clean chip if it is a chip. You can't just put amalgam on that. You know, if it was composite, you can just add composite, but you can't just put amalgam on something. They would literally have to re-prep this, probably a big chunk from here, and then do it that way. So does that make sense to everybody? Two people did mention the shadow here, and yes, I see that too. This is again where a dentist would come in handy because they would have to look at that. It could be completely normal, or it could be, oh, the amalgam might be leaking a little bit. Recession, yes, I would say a little bit here. Again, it's kind of the angle of the camera. But you guys did very well with that. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add? No? Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, and I kind of put that on here anyway. I keep forgetting. So just pretty much, you guys, when an amalgam is just placed, it does look a little bit different. Okay, next one. What do you guys see here? I like this because this is a very popular thing to see. And if you don't know what you're looking at, it can be very confusing. What do you guys think? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to think about this one too. And remember, you know, sometimes it could just be a very easy answer. Like, I'm not always trying to trick everybody. So even if you think you see something, but you're thinking, oh, that's too obvious, it might not be. So just type in the chat box and let me know what you see, and then we'll go from there. I'll give you guys some time to think about it. Even some question marks. Even if you're not sure, you guys, just tell me what you see. Okay, guys, not bad. So everybody pointed out the composite here, which is great. If you guys are ever not sure if it's a composite or not, it is something that you do need to check with your Explorer, because this will feel different than the enamel. Even if you blow air, that helps to see the difference between the colors of the enamel and the composite. Yes, I see brown areas here, you guys. It does look like a cavity was forming around the composite, but you really can't tell unless you take an Explorer and check those areas. It could just be stain getting in there. So that's where the dentist comes in, because they're the experts. They're the ones who would let you know for sure. Same thing with this amalgam. So I believe everybody did point out the amalgam, which is perfect. And these brown areas here could be a cavity or it could be stain. That's where, again, a dentist comes in handy. They need to have the final say, and you should be checking with the Explorer to see if it's kind of sticky. If it's sticky, it's a good indication that it is a cavity. If it's not sticky, it's kind of like, hey, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look right, but let's bring over the dentist for them to have a look. Somebody pointed out the white lines here. Yes, I would definitely say linea alba, okay? So here's the tongue, here's the cheek. So this is obviously on the bottom. They could be chewing the insides of their cheeks, so that's where these kind of like white marks come in. Did anybody point out anything else? I would say those are definitely the main ones. Like, you can see the amalgam, you can see the composite staining or a cavity. Somebody said recession. I don't necessarily see that, just because of the angle here. You couldn't see recession even if they did have it, because you would need to angle it a little bit better. Okay, good, good. That's it, you guys. So I just kind of left some notes to remind myself. So there you go. What do you guys see here? This may look like a very easy one to you, but what do you guys see here? Yes, a lot of you guys pointed it out right away, which is great. This is an amalgam tattoo, okay? It's not cancer. This is an amalgam tattoo, meaning the patient probably had an amalgam here. But that's kind of a weird spot to have an amalgam though, right? That's kind of weird. But that is what an amalgam tattoo looks like. But again, you guys, having that said, even as I'm saying this, I've never seen an amalgam in a front tooth, just so you know. So that's kind of a weird spot for it. This isn't a patient that I've seen. This just came off of the internet, so I don't really know what the right answer is, but that's what I would have pinpointed right away. Some of you guys did say recession. Yep, I see that here for sure. Up here, I mean, I don't really see it up here too much. Back here, yes. So just pretty much, you guys watch out for the gum to be against the tooth. If you see that it's not, and there's a clear cut, I mean, not a clear color change, because it can be hard to tell. But if there's a color change where the dentin is showing through, that's how you know, or I'm sorry, not the dentin, the root surface. Where the root surface is showing through, that's kind of how you know. Actually, I want to take a picture of this, you guys, and post it on Facebook later. So that way everybody can see. Okay. Again, looks like an amalgam tattoo to me, but having an amalgam on a front tooth is kind of strange. What do you guys see here? This is a good one. So you're probably a little bit confused, because clearly this isn't inside the mouth. because the teeth are like stone. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've been up early. But what do you guys see here? I'm getting a lot of answers, which is great, but there are some wrong ones actually. I thought this might be an easier one, but it looks like it might be trickier. What do you guys think? Keep on guessing. For those of you who have question marks, just take a guess, because this is definitely something that you guys should know. I must say, this is, unless you just started studying or something, or you've just started school, then okay, maybe not, but this is something that everybody should know. Okay, guys, this is a crown. This is a crown. Some of you guys said a bridge, but I'm thinking you were just a little confused. Maybe you said they need a bridge, or you're thinking that they need a bridge because there's a space here, right? So that would be an indication of needing a bridge. Some of you guys said dental recession, which is true. So you guys were like looking at everything here. But this is kind of on a study model anyway, but the crown is the big one. And they made it look as like realistic as possible, didn't they? Like they even put like staining here. Somebody did say composite. No, this is not composite. This is a crown. Composite is when you put that white filling material into the tooth like this. That is done chair side. This is not done chair side. This is done in a lab. It can be done chair side with certain machines that we have these days, but not a lot of dentists have that. You can make a crown in about 2 hours where the patient does sit in the chair, and you might tell them to go for a walk for an hour, like while part of the crown's being made, but that can be done actually in the office. But, you know, just for easy sake, this is done in a lab. Any questions though about that, you guys? No? Okay. What do you guys see here? This is good. And I have a feeling like some of you guys are going to get this wrong. So I'm going to give you guys a second to think about it, okay? See what you guys think. What do you guys think? Good. So a lot of you guys did get this right. These are inlays and onlays, not crowns. I bet a lot of you guys thought crowns because you can see the metal right away. Because this obviously isn't composite, it's not amalgam, but there are such thing as inlays and onlays. Inlays is pretty much inside the tooth, not involving a cusp. Onlays are when it starts to involve the cusp and sometimes even a big portion of the tooth, not a crown, but it could be a big portion. Some of you guys did point out these like chips here, and that's interesting. It's almost like the patient's clenching and grinding and just sort of like chipping things away over time. If you go in there with the Explorer and might be sticky, it's hard to say. But the inlays and the onlays are the main things that I wanted to point out for you guys here. Okay, good. What about this one, you guys? What do you see here? There's a couple different things happening, so definitely look. What do you guys think? You guys are pretty good today. Like a lot of you guys are on the ball. This is great because this one, there's a lot happening and most of you guys have all of the answers right so far. And sometimes you might even see something that I can't see right away. So definitely tell me everything you see so then we can talk about it. Okay, guys. So everybody pointed out the crowns, which makes sense. It could even be A cantilever bridge? No, let's just stick with crowns because bridges you need something to attach to. These almost look like splinted together, don't they? I saw that too, you guys. I saw that too. It's just without looking inside the patient's mouth, it's really hard to see, right? Because these are natural teeth here. But these ones are all crowns, could be a bridge of some sort because they do look very close together, like they were like bonded together. Definitely gingival recession up here because it's pretty obvious. Even here as well, you guys, you see how it's a different color. Somebody said a cavity here. You know what? It could be. It's really hard to say, but it could just be that's the color of the patient's roots. That would warrant a check with the Explorer. Oh, thank you. I said patient. I meant to say client. Thank you, guys. Client, client, client. Oh my gosh. Yes, so it's hard to say. You would need to check that, whoops, with the Explorer. Down here, notice the intrinsic stain. Everybody did talk about intrinsic stain. I don't know what that is, but there's not a lot of plaque there. So I'm thinking it could be tetracycline staining. They might have had that all the way up here too, because you kind of notice it here as well. They might have had it up here too, and they just since covered it with crowns because it's everywhere, you guys. It is generalized, and I do see a crown back here too. A few of you guys did mention this one. It is hard to see, so I'm not going to fault you if you didn't see that. It took me a second to see it too. So there is a crown back here. But yeah, there's some type of staining here that is intrinsic, not extrinsic. Please remember that the extrinsic stain is stain that comes from like eating something. It comes after the teeth have formed, if that makes it easier for you. Intrinsic stain is while the teeth were developing. Even in some cases, extrinsic stain can go intrinsic. So if you've seen, let's say, a smoker who's been like smoking a pack a day since they were 15 and they're now 35, they would have both stain because as you smoke, that stain goes inside the enamel too. So they're not going to have nice white teeth and then only smoking stain on the outside. They're going to have a little bit of both, especially if they've been smoking for that long. Good question. Somebody's asking me about cigars. I think it's the same. Like they have the same type of stain. Typically, people don't smoke they don't smoke cigars as much as cigarettes though, so they might not have the same type of stain, but it's still not healthy for them, so let them know. A lot of people are under the notion that smoking a cigar is so much healthier than a cigarette. That's not true. They can look it up if they don't believe you. Okay, guys, next one. What do you guys see here? I like to talk about this one. It might look very basic, but I definitely want to talk about it. So what do you guys think? Hey, you guys are pretty good. I thought this might stump you. Okay, so I haven't seen, whoops, so I haven't seen this patient, okay? But it looks like either crowns or a veneer, like it looks like veneers on the front ones and like crowns on the back ones. But you like, they are so well done that it is hard to tell that you would kind of have to look inside the mouth. So those of you who said crowns, even bridges or veneers, you are correct because we don't really know. It could be a little bit of everything. And that's all to really see here. Somebody, which is really smart, somebody did point out the open space here. So their papilla is completely missing here, you guys. I mean, I can see that, but I didn't think about it. So good for you. You were the only one who pointed that out. So that's pretty good. Okay, guys, next one. What is this? So this is like the before picture and this is the afterwards. What is this? What do you guys think? Yes, so what it looks like to me, so this one's pretty kind of easy and quick. What it looks like to me is a denture. It could be something that's called, which they don't do it anymore, a flipper denture, at least here in Ontario, because it's a choking hazard. It's just basically a denture that it doesn't necessarily have clasps. It just kind of fits in like that. It is supposed to fit in very, very well and then take it out. That's what it looks like to me. But notice how like even these teeth here look a lot better. So they did do more there too. But I just wanted to point this out so that way you guys know it could be a bridge or it could be a denture of some kind without looking inside the patient's mouth. If it's a bridge, obviously you can't take it out. So if this is something that they can't take out, it's a bridge. If it's something they can, that would be a denture. And you guys did point out the attrition here, which is good. You can't obviously see it in the bottom picture because the teeth are overlapping, but you can definitely see some slight attrition, I would say here. Somebody did say open bite. Now you're looking here, so I'm guessing that's why you say that, but their bite's open because the teeth are missing. So that's not a true open, not a true open bite. A true open bite is when they're biting on their back teeth and their front teeth protrude and there's like an open bite. So their maxillary teeth don't overlap the bottom for like say like a 10% overbite, like 50% overbite, something like that. They just simply don't overlap. So that would be a true open bite. So this is not a true open bite. Does that make sense? Okay. What do you guys see here? So this is just kind of showing you what this is, okay? Again, this isn't my patient, but just something that was on the internet. So I will explain this for you guys. What do you guys think? You guys are doing pretty well today. I know it's a Friday morning, it's hot outside. You guys have been, and it was Canada Day too. So I don't know if some of you guys are off today. If you guys are working and or in school. Because I know a lot of people I know who are working are actually off today because Canada Day was what, a Wednesday? So a lot of people are off today, which is kind of nice for them. And this one did not stump you guys either. I'm impressed. So notice how this is very thin, right? That's not a crown, that's not a bridge, that is a veneer. I think everybody said veneer except for one person, but maybe you were just looking at the top picture and not the bottom. So this is a veneer, okay? Some really deep attrition, you guys. So this is a perfect case to say, if you're looking at this inside the mouth, it's like, whoa, somebody's really clenching, really grinding. It's almost like they have like severe attrition, plus they have erosion as well. It's kind of a little bit of both because you notice how the surface is pretty much gone. Like attrition is just mainly on the incisal edges. I mean, it can be pretty much anywhere. Like it can be on the incisal edges and on the cusps too. Once you see when the attrition is that bad and the teeth are worn away that bad, there's more happening, okay? They need a night guard. The fact that the top teeth look so nice, I'm just assuming they're doing something to the bottom teeth for this patient. Sorry, for this client. Now, could you put a veneer or a bunch of them on the bottom teeth? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Can you put a veneer or a lot of veneers on the bottom teeth? No, you cannot. You can only put a veneer if like the buccal surface is slightly roughened up. With severe attrition, you can't because there's nothing for it to hold on to. They need crowns. And unless this habit has stopped for them, they would pop off anything that is there so fast. Crowns is the best thing to do because crowns are the strongest, but they should really still stop that clenching or whatever they're doing and definitely have a night guard. So just think, crowns are the strongest. Veneers aren't strong. Like they're not meant to add strength. They're meant as more of a cosmetic. to hide stains. If a patient has really, really tiny teeth and they want their teeth bigger, well, that would be one way to do it too. You know, like different things like that. It's more of a cosmetic thing. I think that's the last slide for this one. Yes, it is. So are you guys ready to go through some mock exam questions? And I just noticed some more comments. Sorry, guys. I don't know why that was so slow to come in. Yes, somebody was just asking me when we are doing the mock exam questions. We are doing that right now. I'm happy that you guys liked that one. That was exciting. Like, it's just kind of nice to point things out, isn't it? To look at the pictures and then say, okay, what's happening? Now, I just changed my slides here. Can everybody see this okay? I don't think we'll be able to go through all of them today, but that's okay. We will do the rest next time. And this is a mix. Like it's a mix of topics. I put in 36 slides, like just so we don't take too long with it. But it's just kind of a good mix. And that way it kind of helps me determine the topic that we should do the next time. I think the next topic, or sorry, the next session, is it next Friday? Let me check my calendar. I think so. It's next, what's the date today? Yes, it's next Friday. Next Friday morning. Very nice. Are you guys ready? Okay, let's go through the first question. So I will read out the question. Let me give you guys A, B, C, and D. Make this bigger. Oh my goodness. Okay, so just a random question. You are examining a filling that the patient says has been sensitive for months. You notice an overhang on the distal portion. What instrument could you have used to detect this overhang? And if you guys don't understand a question, let me know. You are allowed to ask, well, depending on who's in there with you for the board exam. If you don't understand what the question's asking, you are allowed to ask them, and they are supposed to like read the question for you in a different way and kind of explain it. But some students have told me that they don't always let you do that, which is a shame because English isn't always somebody's first language. So far, everybody who has answered is correct. I feel this is an easy one, you guys, and yes, this is for dental assistants too. You might think it's like a dental hygiene type question because of the answers, but it's not. A dental assisting student should be able to answer this as well. Okay, you guys, so yes. So Explorer is the best answer. Is there any confusion with that? That's pretty much the only instrument that you would use to pretty much detect anything. You always pick up the mirror and the Explorer, always. Always, always. Even when I was a dental assisting student, I think when we were doing our co-op at the university, our instructor said anytime that a dentist comes for a check, it really impresses them for you to have the Explorer and the mirror handy for them. And that just kind of stuck with me. Even as a dental hygienist, I will put on my gloves and I will actually hand them the mirror and the Explorer. They like that. And then I just kind of take them off and then I take my notes. I'm not saying that you guys have to do that, but it always impresses them. I have never heard somebody say, what are you doing? Or you don't have to do that. It just looks good. Okay, just a little side note for you guys. Okay, this is a good one. If contamination occurs during any step of the bonding, what should be done? Yes, this is a dental assistant type of question too, because if you're assisting, I mean, you need to know kind of what's happening, right? And on the other side of things, this is a dental hygiene question as well, because you will be placing sealants. I mean, this isn't really talking about sealants per se, but it kind of is. I'll explain it a bit afterwards without giving you guys the answer. What do you guys think? Couple different answers, and that's okay. We will talk about it. Don't you worry. We will talk about it. Okay, guys, I definitely want to talk about this because there's a couple different answers. So re-etch is the best answer, okay? So basically think of it this way. Let's say you're a dental assistant and you're helping out with a composite placement, okay? If the patient all of a sudden decides to close after you do the etch, or after, you're just not placing the composite yet, you need to re-etch. Can anybody tell me why? Like, why is the etch so important that you have to make sure that step is done and then there's no contamination by saliva? You don't want them closing the mouth. Can anybody tell me why? Because I'm sure a lot of you guys just know, okay, well, you have to re-etch, re-etch, re-etch. Like, that's probably instilled in you so much. But why? What does the etch do, I guess, is a better question. Does that help? What does the etch do? Like, why is it so special? Somebody did say re-cement. You no. Why did you say that? So if you're confused, let me know. I'm thinking you just might have picked an answer, but let me know. So you guys, the etch helps to remove the smear layer, okay? If you guys don't know what a smear layer is, you definitely should. So basically our mouth, like anytime we close our mouth, swallow, anytime actually, like pretty much right away, your saliva and what's in the mouth forms over the teeth. That's kind of like a smear layer. That layer needs to be taken off for anything to attach to something, to bond to something. If you're not etching, it's not taking anything off. So the etch helps to remove that smear layer, plus leaves a white chalky appearance on the tooth. So you know that, okay, this is going to bond well. You can etch wrong, like you might etch but not use enough etch or for not long enough, and then you might rinse away the etch and the tooth still looks shiny because there's saliva on it, or the natural oils haven't been taken off. You need to re-etch then. That tooth needs to look white and chalky. Does that make sense? If anybody's confused, please let me know because that's very important. So just think contamination, you need to etch, and make sure that the etch is done properly. Okay, next one. The patient's pulp is only slightly exposed during cavity preparation. What liner stimulates reparative dentin? This is a dental assisting and hygiene question. In fact, assistants might know this question more than a hygienist because this would have briefly been mentioned in your dental materials unit. So granted, a dental hygienist might not have this question on the exam, but I mean, we really should, because you should know this. So I'm going to teach it to you. What do you guys think? You guys are quick today. I love that. That's awesome. You guys should be very happy. For those of you who are getting the answers right so far, you know who you are. You should be very, very happy because this is a mix. So I didn't tell you guys what to study. I didn't tell you guys how to prepare. This is all just seeing, okay, do I know this material? Good job, you guys. I think everybody got this right, actually. So calcium hydroxide. This liner stimulates reparative dentin. So as a dental assistant, if the dentist is asking for calcium hydroxide, you know it's a deeper filling, or they're confused that it, or sorry, not confused, that the dentist is concerned that it's a little bit too deep, they're not sure. So this, they just kind of place a little bit on it to just help to heal it up a little bit more. I do this a lot as a restorative hygienist as well. I can't say if a patient needs the calcium hydroxide, but a dentist has to tell me to place it. So I can't just say as a restorative hygienist, okay, I think this needs calcium hydroxide. The dentist would prep the tooth and then tell me if they need it or not, and then I would place it before the filling. Everybody got that right, I believe. So I don't feel like I need to explain this, but if anybody's confused, please let me know. Next one. Your patient's first molar on the upper right side has always been sensitive. It needs a very deep filling. What would you use to seal the tubules and release fluoride? Good question, isn't it? And we're almost done, you guys, so I won't take up too much of your Friday. How does it look out there? I can tell it's toasty. Toasty, toasty, toasty. So yes, there is a lot of info here. The patient's first molar on the upper right side, always been sensitive. It now needs a filling, so there's probably a deep cavity there. That's why it says a deep filling. What would you use to seal the tubules and release fluoride? And yes, you guys, some of them are the same. I kind of did that. Well, I'll talk about it. They're the same, but used in a different manner sometimes. I'll talk about it. But good catch, though. Okay, let's talk about it, you guys. So A is the best answer, okay? So let me tell you why. Sorry, let me change all this here. So the only thing that can seal tubules and release fluoride is the resin modified glass ionomer. That's it. This is more of a dental assisting question, yes. C and D are the same things. Now, I want to point out something to you. If you guys see Zoe like this, so Zoe, um, it's almost like they want to use it in a different way, because zinc oxide eugenol can be used a few ways, but to keep it simple, think of it as it's very soothing to the tooth, okay? That's all you have to think about. So either Zoe or zinc oxide eugenol is used to soothe the tooth. This said nothing about soothing the tooth. Yes, it did mention a deep filling, so you kind of expect like something to be needed, but that wasn't the question. The question was, what would you use to seal the tubules and release fluoride? The only thing that will release fluoride is glass ionomer. Good job, guys. I'm impressed. Okay, let's go through this one here. So Joe is a new patient, and his main concern is his tooth sensitivity. Happens a lot, you guys. A lot of people have tooth sensitivity. Upon examination, you noticed generalized demineralized areas. What can be done at home to remineralize the enamel? So pick out the keywords here, you guys. What can be done at home to remineralize the enamel? So we're not talking about in the office. We're not talking about office treatments. Read the question always, because it's definitely, there are things you can do in the office to help to remineralize, and there's things you can do at home as well. It should be done like both ways type thing. I know, this is a tough one. But some of these answers are clearly wrong though, so I do hope you guys kind of catch them. Good, you guys are good with this one. Okay, so C is the best and only answer, okay? The best and only. Brushing and flossing is just something that they should be doing. Some of you guys did pick that. So brushing and flossing is just simply something everybody should be doing. If using a fluoridated toothpaste, yes, that can help to remineralize enamel, but not really as much, right? You want to take it a step further and use a daily fluoride rinse. Not a weekly one, not a monthly one or something. It has to be daily, because it has to be something to constantly, you know. I forget why I put these pictures here, you guys. I'm thinking because these areas here, clearly the enamel needs to be remineralized. This looks like after braces, this picture here, where there's a lot happening, okay? So the enamel needs to be remineralized. When you see this, even if yes, you're checking and there's no cavities there, or you are checking and there are cavities there, they need to be on a daily fluoride rinse. They might hum and haw and say, I've never used a mouthwash before, I'm not interested. Let them know the importance. It's never too late to start, okay? Never. In fact, I like this picture too. I kind of want to take a picture of this as well. I almost want to post it in my group on Facebook for my clients because a lot of my clients have something that looks like this first picture. And they need to know a daily fluoride rinse. You guys did very well today. So we did leave off on slide 11. We will definitely do the rest next time. Next, did I say Friday? Next Friday, because this is good. It's kind of nice to have a mix, isn't it? And it does help you see kind of what you need to study more, or if you found these questions easier, then you don't have to study them. Nice, right? Do you guys have any questions about anything? Let me stop sharing my screen here. Any questions? And as always, if you guys think of anything, just type in the Facebook group. I'm going to be out of town this weekend, Kitchener, Elmira, Guelph area, seeing patients. So I might not be able to get to the questions until the evening times, and hopefully the hotel has good Wi-Fi. It's amazing how even like, you got something on my shirt. Even these days, a lot of hotels don't have very good Wi-Fi. It's so weird. This is 2020 now. That's usually the first question I ask though, is okay, I need to be hooked up to Wi-Fi, so give me the password. So it shouldn't be a problem checking those questions if you guys have any. Good, you guys, you're so welcome. Thank you for hopping on nice and early for me on a Friday, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy the weather. It's going to be so hot. I'll be taking off my sweater. Oh, it's going to be hot, you guys. And I'll see you guys next Friday to continue this mock exam question session. It will be a good one. You know, always be prepping for the boards. Always be studying. Daisy, you're so welcome anytime. Thank you guys. You did great. Again, thanks for hopping on. The recording should be up a little bit later, you guys. So I'll be posting that in the Facebook group as soon as it's up, but always check the 2020 playlist that we have on YouTube if you want to see it sooner, because that is up usually a lot quicker. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy your week. Bye, guys.